Hey everybody, welcome to Joe's Minibike Reunion Podcast. It's our second podcast, Ed, of 2017. I'm sweating already. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I stopped counting. 10 guys in a cramped garage, and it's 95 friggin' degrees. Welcome to the podcast, everybody.
Yay.
Thanks, hey.
It's good to be here.
All right. Well, we're going to do something a little different this time. It's nice to chat. In fact, we're going to keep doing that because that's really the cool part, getting together and talking. We're all doing that earlier, right? How was the barbecue?
Oh, it was good.
Huh?
It was good.
We had a barbecue.
Yeah.
I made a pork barbecue, a 10-pounder. I didn't screw it up. It was pretty damn good, I may say.
Yeah, it was.
It was good.
The coleslaw was marginal. The fries were all right. But you guys got here. Thank you for coming up. I'm surrounded by the elite of the West Coast mini bike scene, okay? We were doing some math, and collectively we've got about 350 years of total experience working on these friggin' rigid frame death traps. How about that? Really? That's the enormity of the time and the experience that we've had with these little mini bikes. So obviously we're really into them, right?
Right.
And what I wanted to do was take a second to introduce everybody. Obviously I'm here with my co-host Evil Ed. Eddie, what's happening, brother?
Howdy.
You doing all right?
Thanks for inviting me again.
Well, you're always you're the co-host, so it's like kind of automatic, right?
I'm trying to make it sound good.
All right. So you're the last one here. Everybody's friggin'
Someone
worrying.
has to work for a living, you know. You can't just work on mini bikes all day.
Well, some of us do that professionally, right?
Yeah.
But TMZ's calling. Where's Ed? It's like, well, I got a full house. Ed may not show up. Well, if Ed's not coming, we don't want to come over. So all this celebrity bullshit I've got to deal with now. It's unanimous from all the posts. They like you more than me. We're going to change it to Ed's Mini Bike Reunion Podcast.
Good idea.
Or Charles. I think Charles probably, they like it better than me anyways. But Ed's here. You been doing all right?
Yeah.
You look good.
Thanks.
What's up with the gas monkey stuff? I thought you didn't like those dudes.
No, they're all right.
We got roadkill though, man.
I wear anything that's free.
All right. Well, speaking of, where's your free shirt?
Oh, I don't know what happened to it.
All right, we got a free shirt for
There
Ed.
it is.
All right, let's look. You know, we got a strong West Coast scene. I mean, that's where it's at, right? But Detroit, they're holding tight. Don't be afraid of
See what
Detroit.
this thing is.
So
Yeah.
Calvin Carisi, I believe I'm not pronouncing his name incorrectly. He won the top mini drag bike at the recent Detroit Autorama, which is pretty cool because that Autorama is
Who is it?
prestigious. Calvin Carisi, he builds drag bikes.
Thank you, Calvin Carisi.
I'll send you his Facebook information. He's a really
I
cool
don't know
guy.
if I know that guy.
Yeah. Well, he knows you.
He
But-
do?
Yeah, he didn't have a shirt big enough, but he's going to send some. Ed got a shirt from
That's a good
Calvin.
one right there.
I got this one. And he's a cool guy. He's representing, got Myron out there. Everybody knows Myron
I know
Bailey.
Myron. Everybody know Myron.
Well, yeah. So they're doing their deal out there. They're riding the bikes in the snow and all that shit. So while we're here in shorts, they're
Freezing.
Stella's like 20 inches of snow over there. We wanted to do something a little different, as I said, and here's what it's going to entail. We're going to take a brand new Predator 6.5 horsepower. It's a 212cc overhead valve engine that we bought for like $99. On a good day, they'll friggin' pay you $99 to take this engine, okay? And that's why we're using it, because the days of being able to go buy a Tecumseh or a Briggs & Stratton or a Clinton, guys, those old school vintage motors, it's like go find an original 340 engine. Go find an original 440. Go find a 396. They're out there, but they're tough. That's what's happening there. So now what do? You go this line. No harm, no foul.
Harbor Freight.
Harbor
Freight, one of the many places, but yeah, Harbor Freight's where we go. Get a coupon online. Really, it's $99. So knowing how important the engine is to the whole mini bike deal, Ed and I talked. I talked to Charles, talked to Brian, talked to the guy. Said let's assume that the guy's got his roller. The first thing he needs to do is tend to his engine. Go spend the $100, get the engine, and you're not going to put that in your bike. And I wanted to assemble these pros to tell you not only how to get it out of that box, which is a pain in the ass on its own, and how to buy it, but how to take it through the different stages. Stage 1.
Stage 2. Stage 3.
Some of those parts are laid out in front of me as we progress. Ultimately, at the end of the podcast, this engine's going to fire up in somewhat of a stage 3 format. So I enlisted a gentleman that shouldn't be, I guess, a surprise having him on for this particular style show. It's Charles Minidragbike. Charles has been part of the podcast and a part of my mini bike world since I started. We had to have him here, and Charles is going to lend some of his expertise on the engine build itself. George from GT, he's going to be doing all the wrenching. George is the quiet guy that does all the stuff that needs to get done. He also does this professionally. And if you'd like to get it done, you can find out more about how to get a hold of George. We also are flanked by Frank Franquez, along with his brother Frank from F&B. As you guys know, these guys have made their name in the mini bike world for a pretty damn long time as well. They've been running around as long as Charles and Ed has. Brian and Frank came over not only to lend their expertise on the pipes that they manufacture, but also their expertise in terms of hopping up the engine. When we got the engine, that was one phone call and one check. Then we needed all the good stuff. We needed the parts. And that was pretty easy fix too. Picked up the phone. After talk to Charles, we got a list of all the products we need. We made one phone call, and I'm happy to say that our man joining us here, Tim Isky from Small Engine Cams.
Right there.
And with the exception of a couple items, one of them is the head that was personally redone by George, but all the other parts, minus the pipe and the head, these are all available at Small Engine Cams. Go online and check them out. And we've got some really cool parts. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to shut up, but let me introduce these guys again. Charles Minidragbike Mosley, to my right. George, is it GT or GT Hobbies?
It's GT Hobbies.
Great. Brian, Frank as well from F&B. Everybody knows, we just mentioned Tim from Isky. Thank you guys for joining us here. Essentially, here's how it's going to work. We're going to unbox this engine. And as we start to disassemble the engine, which you need to do to kind of get things going, we're going to invite you to send in some questions, as well as, if you'd like, comments. Just send them all to the Facebook page. We'll be reading those intermittently. You know, one of the first things that we heard about was when you buy one of these engines, you know, there's a certain progression that you see in the different stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4 upgrades. So right now we've got a standard Predator 6.5 right out of the box. What's some of the first things that George is going to do up there, Charles?
Well, the first thing everybody does, normally they might run the engine bone stock, then they take the governor out, right? And normally the first thing they do is put a pipe on, right? But sometimes the carburetor may need to be rejetted when you put the pipe on because it's not getting enough heat into the engine and it might run lean or whatever else. But you normally may reject the carb, put an exhaust pipe on, and take the governor out.
So would you say that 80% of the time you're going to have to rejet that carb?
Yes, it's especially in California. They have these emission laws where everything is built to run lean.
Okay.
You know, so if you take off this stock air filter element, it's going to run lean.
So you have to worry. Then you have to change the jetting.
Yeah, and then you end up putting on like a little
Great.
aftermarket.
So these two products up here really, although we brought a finished stage 3 pipe, because ultimately that's where we're going to end up. And for the sake of time, we didn't bring a stage 1 pipe and then a stage 2 or 3, for example. We went right to the stage 3, but the first thing you would do is you would take a shortened version of this as a stage 1, for example. Right, Charles?
This one here is like, the good thing about this pipe is like universal. The bending on it is made where it fits pretty much any mini bike frame. Unlike the drag version where it might hit the frame, but this one here is like universal.
Hey,
That's
Brian, considering that you guys manufacture those, if you don't mind, Charles, hand that over to Brian. I know that the pipes come in a variety of not only different shapes and stages, but also some different finishes. Tell the guys a little bit about those while we're disassembling the engine, would you?
Well, the first is the raw finish, obviously. Then we offer a brush finish and then a chrome version also.
What's the most popular? The raw, I would think. You know,
yeah.
We're kind of a frugal group, aren't we, for the most part? And then you get some custom jobs that want the chrome.
Yeah, the majority want race pipes, you know.
Your brother, Frank, was educating me earlier, and despite this stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, what we had talked about is that it really, the stage 1 is really the stubby that replaces your stock exhaust, but really there's not a stage 2 as much as you progress to the stage 3. Why is that? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Stage 1 for me is for me, stage 3 is stage 1.
Gotcha.
So I don't even really, I mean, I will build motors like that for people if they ask, but personal stuff is I just start right from the max if I can.
Yeah, but you're a little bit more performance minded, and as a result, I can kind of see that. There's going to be some guys who just want to take off that stock muffler, maybe just for the looks alone, and go for a stage 1, right?
Yeah.
So you're
If I jump in there on that, the stage 1 effectively is going to go right along with what we're running as a stage 1 on the engine here.
Bone
Most
stock,
people want
yeah.
to do is pretty much bone stock. They put on a stage 1 header just to get a little bit more increased performance, less back pressure, eject the carburetor, and it will pick up power. Then obviously the next stage 2, you want to go to a bigger pipe because you want to go into bigger valves and whatnots in the engine. So that's the reason for running the different stages, because not everybody jumps right to a stage 3
sure.
Build.
Charles, in this stage 1 where we're, and again, for the sake of time, we will remove the governor. We won't do it in this particular build. When you're doing that stage 1, what kind of horsepower changes do you think you could see? Because this claims
the
6.5.
pipe is the biggest bolt on for stage 1. You gain at least 1.5 just from that. Then rejet the carb, maybe 2 horsepower over stock.
So your stage 1 is going to be a couple more horsepower. Now you're kind of floating around 8.5 horsepower, right?
Yeah.
Which isn't too bad. All right.
That's normally good for your neighborhood. See, what I was telling them earlier, people like start feeling that they the fastest. You normally feel you fast, right? And you ride in your neighborhood and beat other kids at stock. But then you say, well, I want to go to the races. And that's normally how, when you go to the races, you're like, man, these dudes is way faster than me. And so you start saying, I don't even like riding my bike. You actually you ride your bike the first time and everybody's zooming around you. You kind of like put your bike to the side and just watch. And they say, man, I need to go a little faster. But normally, the kids, or if they kids, they don't have the budget. So they may go to stage 2. Get stuff a little bit at a time, build a rod, maybe get a carb. Carb and intake is normally the next thing.
Yes, in the stage 2.
Yeah. Some people don't like to get the flywheel because the flywheel don't necessarily make you that much faster, but it's a safety reason why you get that. You have to get billet rod and carburetor though.
Okay.
That would probably be in like stage 2.
Well, I'm glad you clarified that because I thought that the billet rod as well as the modified head that George performed, that was stage 3. I didn't realize.
No, the flywheel will go in stage 3 because
okay, great.
Normally you can get away with not making too much power with a billet flywheel, but
got it.
They have to get billet rod.
So then our stage 2, in fact, this would be a part of our stage 1. We went with a green filter. Green filter, I noticed a lot of green filters on the Cats when I went out to Paul's Minibike event out there. I don't know what it was, and I happen to be friends with these guys from Green Filter, and I know there's a lot of other popular filters out there. We had some earlier Unifilters, one, obviously K&N. The Green Filters was getting a lot of good exposure, and I've been using those with some success. That would be
they was
part of our
real
early...
known on the Briggs.
Yeah, the World Formula filters.
The World Formula,
Yeah.
they was like legal for the World Formula class racing, which is Briggs and Stratton.
Yes,
They're like 15.
they are affinity partners with Briggs and Stratton, which is a pretty nice little association there. They also, many people say, "Well, I don't like green." It's like they come in different colors.
The whole
so
everybody silver
knows,
and then they're green. Yeah, that's how it is.
So then our, I guess for our, how are we making out over there, George?
Taking it apart.
Go bust it all the way down.
Yeah, we kind of figured that maybe from beginning to end, it would probably take us about an hour or so as we chatted.
Yeah.
One of the questions that we had earlier had to do with once these engines are built, how do you power them? And, most of the time we throw on a little clutch. A lot of other cases we use torque converters. We had a question that came in from a local guy. In fact, he's a gentleman that I may have turned you on to, George. He wants to get his Titan engine drag bike going. His name is Jack Boyd. And I'm not sure if he mentioned you or not. Everybody seems to have known of you. But Jack Boyd asks what we think about torque converters on a 6.5 application. Like I used one on this Briggs. Dave Miller, who was here with us on the last podcast, he loves torque converters. That's the first thing he'll tell you. What are your opinions, guys, about a torque converter application versus a centrifugal clutch style arrangement, which is probably a little bit more common, right?
You want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Well, let's go, Brian.
I think it really depends on what you plan on doing. You know, as far as which clutch you're gonna run, I'm saying. You know, so if it's gonna be for a drag purpose, I'd run a torque converter.
This engine, when we're done with this engine, what is your feeling about using a torque converter application versus a clutch?
I'd run a clutch on it.
Why?
It's not gonna be like a, I guess race ready motor. I'm saying. I mean, it'll be durable, be a good little hot rod, but.
So maybe it doesn't need a torque converter. Maybe the engine size is.
What are you guys running now? I heard someone say that they're going to go back to the shoe clutches because they don't like the disc clutches anymore.
I don't know.
The disc clutches aren't fun. If you plan on running like long distance, you don't like running on disc clutch. I did that on Father's Day before, and it keeps snapping.
Those manual clutches that just popped out.
Oh yeah, D had one.
I heard a little bit about those.
Yeah.
We wouldn't run that application on a 6.5.
You could. I think that would be good on here.
Yeah, I think he had one on, but I don't know if he liked them or not. I know I didn't like them. I don't know.
Charles, what's your feeling about the torque converters versus like a standard?
Well, it depends too, because I seen those guys. They like to go ride in the dirt, climb hills, and all that type of stuff, and they might have big tires. See, like to move a tire like this.
Yeah, torque converter.
You need torque converter.
So then if I could,
this little tire right here, you'd be good with.
So tire size could be one of the big things in addition to your power plant.
Right here, if you're on the street pavement with this little tire, you only need a clutch. But if you trying to move a tire like this, or you ride in the dirt, normally with dirt you have a big tire also.
Jack, I think the answer to your question is that really depending on, which would seem only normal or insensible, that your application and whether you're going to be really using this thing on the street or off-road. If it's a big tire application, go torque converter. If it's a small street application that really you can categorize the 6.5, you're probably better off with a clutch. That's a good question. Those manual clutches I was talking about, those things just popped off, and D-Racer, you had to get it as soon as he could. I'd love to get one, but I'm worried about other things and worry about shifting this thing, especially now with suicide brakes and everything else. There's too much shit to worry about. I don't want to kill myself. Hey Tim, you have any final comments about torque converters versus clutches?
I've never actually built one with a torque converter, but kind of understand. They are a good choice for certain things.
Yeah, I hadn't ever had one until this bike was put together and Jake used that application.
To clarify, they have stock mild torque converters for these
engines. Those on stock bikes.
Then they have full drag race torque converters,
Yeah.
but they cost so much money.
Yep.
That you don't really want to get one of those. But they're real good for 8th mile drag racing. If you got a super expensive drag race torque converter. But as far as just the street, what do they cost? Like $130? The regular TAV30?
Yeah, those are online. Yeah, I looked at those too.
TAV2s, those are.
Yeah.
Hey, Jack, thanks for sending in that question. As a result, you're going to win a $50 coupon from GoPowersports.com.
Nice.
They were involved giving away some stuff last show as well. Thanks. We'll send an email to you, Jack, with some of the details on that. So, Charles, Brian, how are we making out here with the breakdown?
Looks like he's moving along pretty good.
We got the shroud off. We've got the tank off. We've got that air filter off, and now we're going to start disassembling the stock flywheel. Yeah. Ed, what was your first time building one of these Predators? You're a traditional Tecumseh Briggs guy,
I build like Briggs stuff. Briggs and Tecumseh little motors.
Ed and I were talking.
My friend JD built me a motor out of the 6.5. It was pretty nice.
Shout out to JD. Texas now? Is that where he is?
JD's in Texas.
Yeah. Good.
He's becoming a chef now.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Is he?
Everything he posts is food.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah,
he knows
me too,
what he's
man.
doing
I
in the
think
kitchen,
about
that guy. Some barbecue.
I wanted to take a second to recognize some of those folks back on the East Coast who are dealing with that that storm Stella. It's bad, man. It's like literally.
It was supposed to be like.
No, Charles, my niece.
Never heard about it.
And my sister-in-law sent a video. They walked outside of their house, which was a feet on its own, getting out of the house. But when they did, the cars are literally covered up. You cannot see the fucking cars.
3-4 feet.
Now, I lived there in the late 60s, and I remember it being so bad that my mom threw me out of the kitchen window into the snow. There was no getting out for a while. But it seems like those were days long ago, but they're here again.
Yeah, for them.
And it's a task, but everybody got a snow day. And if you're freezing your ass off over there, get close to the heater and keep listening to the podcast. Thanks for joining us, all my friends back there, and all my my favorite Joe's Minibike Reunion podcast listeners, the two of you that are out there. So, Ed, yeah, you're more traditional, and I was too. I was more Briggs & Stratton.
Yeah.
You talked to some young kid today about a mini bike engine. The first thing you're going to do is talk to you about going to Harbor Freight and getting a Predator, right?
Now, yeah.
Yeah.
Those engines are like slow. Well, I mean, these to regular Tecumseh and Briggs, they're slow. If you want to go fast, you got to buy a
It's
Predator.
true. You know, as good of a job that Jake did with my 5 horsepower D Racer.
Yeah.
He had his built 6.5, and it was like night and day. But again, get a little bit older, got a whole different agenda. Now our agenda, like I talked to Frank, it's like we just want to go out there and just be able to pull start it
Yeah.
and just go.
Yeah.
I don't have to be the fastest or the quickest. I just want to, every time I pull it starts, and I just go, and when I put the brake on, it stops. That's all I want at this point.
Stage 2.
So, making some progress over there, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we, in terms of tools, mostly all metric stuff for these Predators, right?
Yeah, 10 millimeter, 12 millimeter, 8
Yeah,
millimeter.
Any special tools that you're going to need outside
Yeah,
of this?
that's why I had to bring that special tool for the rod. It's like a 12-point quarter-inch.
Show us that, Ed. I can't even see it.
The rod right there.
I thought you meant a special tool. Yeah, where is
Yeah.
that special tool that you're talking about? Is it already
It's
in there?
in my 12
okay.
inch or whatever down there. But
So you may need some special tools like that one. Any other special tools the guys need to do this style of a build up on a Predator?
no, that's the other one. You know, that's the main one right there because that's an oddball.
Now, talk to us a little bit about that tool, Charles. What's so special about it, and what does it do?
ARC make it 12 point. Well, you have to use another 12 point, and it's quarter-inch. It's so little, and then they already be torqued. You can't just get this thing.
Tim
loose.
offers those.
They already torqued the
Socket.
specs.
Yeah,
like
all this stuff,
175 foot-pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, no, 175 inch pounds. I'm
Inch
tripping.
pounds.
So, Charles, when it came to the parts, it was like, okay, quick, we need to get a list to Tim. Like, you didn't even think twice. Why is it that he's such an automatic go-to for you?
Well, you know, I've been knowing Tim longer than everybody now. You know, he know what he stocked the right stuff. You know,
So,
he
so not
stocked
only
the right
because you
stuff.
love him, but he's got it, right?
Yeah.
He had everything. Even when we called him last minute. Oh, I need a carburetor. Oh, by the way, you got a single stage? He's like, single stage? Right here.
Yeah.
He had everything. Tim, I know that you particularly are aware of everything here, again, minus the head and the pipe. As we assemble some of these products that you have, what am I going to spend if I call you up and I assemble a list of parts like this? Like, what am I spending? Am I spending $500? Am I spending $800? What am I spending?
Oh yeah, for $500. You
Yeah.
can get a
How cool.
Pretty stout motor.
Yeah.
It seems like the $100 cost for the engine is like just the cover charge, right? You go in here for another $5, and now what else we got to do? We got to put some cables, some rubber, some wheels,
Yeah.
a seat. So we can this route. Now, what if somebody wanted to go grab an F&B frame?
Yeah.
You know, let's talk a little bit about those. Somebody wanted to pick up an F&B frame. What do we have available for those guys, and what are some of the price points there?
Starting price points basically in many of the frames are about $250 for
Wow.
frame and forks type setup, and then all the options are unlimited to what you can do with them. You can go a simple traditional, bolt type axle to a live axle, disc brakes, anything you want. So
Brian's orange bike was the one I fell in love with.
it
Yeah,
depends
that
on,
one
it depends
came
on
out
what
nice.
you want to do with it, and it goes back to
The different power levels. That's what I like. They have like the stock, and if you're trying to drag a race with a lot of power, then they have a full drag bike, which is,
Yeah,
it's
that's extreme.
hard for people that never really did that stuff to understand what it is. But most people think they can just get like a giant, powerful engine and just bolt it on a regular frame.
And they do.
It's not gonna work.
Well, yes, they do. We have the internet to prove that. Just so you know, guys, that wasn't the torque wrench or the compressor. That was Emmanuel. Emmanuel has been battling like some real. In fact, we're lucky to have him here today. He's been battling this for like a month. So, E, thanks for being a trooper and hanging in there with us. Wow, we made some progress over there. So, Brian and Frank, knowing the type of engine that we're building here, what bike? I know we can go from mild to wild. What frame would you recommend for a nice built 6.5 Predator setup? What frame and kit would you offer?
I would
Or
go our
suggest?
F&B small frame.
Okay, it's called the small frame.
Like my orange bike.
And how much is that?
Again, starting point is $250.
Okay, on that bike, got it.
And depending on what you're going to do with it is really where the price
get the
changes.
rod, man.
If you just want to ride, put a mild built Predator or something in there.
And have a scrub brake and just
It's
go.
going to be just fine.
Okay.
If you want to go drag racing, then I go to our next step up frame, which is our F&B large frame, because it's a lot longer wheelbase. Because when you put a lot of power in these engines and you try and take off with them,
Yeah, you
it
have-
will do a wheelie or flip on you. And
Regardless if you
anybody
want it or
who's
not.
sitting here who's ridden a mini bike knows it doesn't take a lot to fall off. It
No.
could be 5, 10,
Yeah.
20 miles an hour.
Well, usually happens your maiden voyage too. You
true.
know, when you hit that throttle, we built that taco with the 6.5, and we were just riding it up here when we were filming. I didn't have the helmet on. I'm embarrassed to say, but yeah, you hit that throttle for the first time and you're not aware of what you've got. That thing goes,
Yeah.
and I'm sure this one will as well.
I think everybody fell before. I
Yeah.
know I fell. No, Tim almost fell. Tim almost fell.
Well, he ain't riding enough
You
then.
fell, I fell.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you
I'm
have
not gonna
to.
say because
Well, we saw something recently, wasn't
not
there?
gonna jinx myself.
D Racer showed me a video of a guy recently that was outrunning. I'm not sure if it was where we.
Oh, yeah.
He got the wobbles. You know, you just felt for him.
what's
He
his
got
name,
the.
George?
Yeah, poor Kelly. So let's give him a shout out. Hope you're doing
Yeah,
better,
man,
brother.
he will.
He's a good rider.
Yes.
He won one of the tournaments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
the,
look,
the last one.
So
The last tournament, the other one.
you don't want to tell a young guy like that anything, right? He's gonna make up his own mind. But I don't know if he was dressed right, if he was covered up, because he was raw.
Yeah.
He was raw in too many
Yeah.
places, and I don't even know you, Kelly. That's his name.
Yep.
Dude, it's like you see these things are.
Yeah, gloves for sure. Gloves for sure.
Helmet and gloves. Big
For sure.
safety gear.
I so and I'll tell you what, I have new helmets that Honda of Glendale gave me they gave me so many helmets.
What?
They gave me so many helmets to give away at the show. I still have helmets.
Really?
I still have helmets. You know, sometimes they have like some extra decals, or I definitely don't have any extra large shirts or extra large. But I have certain things that hold over. I have some helmets. So if you're in a bind and you ride and you're a good dude or a good gal, what I mean by that is that you know if you're out fucking gangbanging doing all that shit, I ain't giving you no helmet, right? If you're breaking in my niece's houses, I ain't giving you. But if you're a good person and you can say that and you need a helmet, you call me up and I give you a free helmet from
cool.
Honda of Glendale. That's how much we want you to wear a helmet.
Yeah,
And
the
you know,
movement's
I
starting.
don't know how many
too.
I have in
Videos
there.
and
If there's
stuff about it.
2 or 20 of them in there, when I'm out, so are you. But just to make a point. In fact, before you buy the engine, get yourself a cheap helmet or any kind of helmet.
It doesn't matter what kind of experience you have on the bike.
Yep.
No, I got a lot of
Plenty of people
experience.
who've been on.
I saw some
And I
dude
still
posting though.
fail.
I saw some guy posting with a hockey helmet on though. It's like, don't do that. 'Cause
Yeah.
you're just tricking yourself. How we making out over there, George?
Pretty dumb.
He got it pretty much done.
All right, good. So
Just tore
it
down.
looks like a pile of parts there, Charles.
Uh-huh.
What are we gonna do with all this stuff? Because I still have all my takeoffs. Where are all the takeoffs for these
In a
Predators?
box, and you eventually
for
throw them
video
away.
sake in California, we go recycle.
So you just put them in a box. Like I tried it. I put a gas tank on Craigslist. I put a little camshaft in there.
Recycle every year.
Yeah, and then they'll flip them. Yeah.
Nobody
Can't
called.
give that stuff away.
All right, so what do you do with it then? You just does it go
You
like
gotta
all those?
recycle it to the scrap yard.
Just
You
get-
have to recycle in California.
And it's not. Yeah, so we take it to the scrapyard then. That's what we're gonna. There's nothing. Do you keep the bolts? You don't keep any. Nah, everything goes, huh?
Especially plastic.
So if we're throwing all this shit out of
I keep some
out,
hardware on them.
If we're throwing all this stuff out that comes with it, what is it that we love about these engines then? Is it just the base that the core block that we
The
get?
block, the head, the crank. The fact that it's 212cc instead
Right off
of
the
a
bat.
196.
196.
So Charles, show us
Killer.
what we really want out of the $100. It's really that case right there, right? I mean, when it's all
lift
said
it
and
up, George, man.
like that's really your $99
And
when you
your
really
crank.
get down to
And
it,
your
right,
I already
guys?
say the head though. Later on, if you say, "Well, I maybe want to go to a stage 5," then you
Whoa.
maybe wanting to use one of these heads or something. So that's not been talked about yet, though.
Oh, see, well, there you go.
skipping
We
ahead.
talked about stage. So hold on to the head.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, you can hold on to the block. You can go stage 6 with the block.
Oh Lord.
Oh, here we
It's
go.
almost unlimited stages here.
All right. So, but
Until the block blow, until everything blow up.
Now,
that's stage.
That's
Stage ends when
That's
you're
the bad
talking.
stage
That's
right
the
there.
problem.
The
Ed,
bad stages when it blow up.
you recall,
Yeah.
Ed, when we had Dave on, that he is working with Go Kart USA guys.
Right.
And they use the Titan
Yeah,
engines. What
right.
do you know about those?
Just another clone motor.
Yeah, because they're all
It's
interchangeable
another
from what I
company
hear.
making the same thing.
Here's the one thing I heard about the Titans. Why I love them. Electric fucking start.
Titans, they're 6.5 base.
It's just like a Predator. Just
You
same
know,
old.
I haven't seen one yet.
That is a great accessory, as long as the
Go
engine's
Kart
stopped.
USA sells.
Yeah.
You don't,
Oh, really?
If you don't have a
I'll check it out.
compression release that works correctly, that electric starter does not make enough torque to start it.
No, don't
Going
do
to a
that.
stage 2 or 3,
You just gotta take the
if
thing
you were
off
to
the
do that
car.
with a Titan motor, it's not starting with that electric starter.
That's really. So obviously that's from experience, huh?
Oh yeah.
So the electric starter option, that enticing option that you get, may come with a caveat that if you start to do what we're doing now, that electric starter may not actually function, or it may.
You can
Ah.
you can call and discuss whatever cam options you can with Tim, because he'll let you know what he can and can't put a compression release on.
Got it.
Because you can't even pull start one of these engines if you don't have a compression release cam.
Wow. So that's. And that starts
Yeah.
to take it to a whole different world. There's guys like compression release. Like, no. I remember those from dirt bikes. I don't want that on my mirror. I
Yeah,
don't
you
want
can
to
get
go
them
there.
for Indian motorcycles or Harleys. They have a separate one you can buy, and you got to drill and tap your head.
Yeah.
I know one guy sent me pictures of the chainsaw compression releases.
Yeah.
He installed one on a clone head, and I said, "Well, where are you going to put it on a clone head?" I was looking at the clone head. How are you going to put it on there? What he did was that little pocket there by where the push rods are. He welded that in solid, and he drilled a hole this way, and he drilled a hole the other way. He welded a little block on there, and he welded and he drilled tapped it into the block that he welded onto the head. 'Cause
Wait,
otherwise,
wait a minute,
I was like,
George.
Where do you put it on the head?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
And it was
Oh
functional.
yeah. Let's see. Where's the old box? You can put it. Yeah.
It's right here. But
Sure.
we're going to show probably what all the stuff, how it is all apart.
Hey Tim, back over here for a second here. Charles, tell us where we are now.
Oh, it's all torn apart. That's what it was like. I don't know if you can't really get a view of the exploded view. It'll be like an exploded view, how you would
Yeah. Let's take a.
show everything.
So this is total
All the
disassembled.
pieces,
All right, and now
everything. Governor gone.
so then let's put in the box what we're not going to use. Let's clear up our little table and we'll get this ready for our stage 2. So gone with the air filter. Our little plastic flywheel there. Our stock head. Our tank. The tanks I thought for sure would sell. Christ, I couldn't even sell my tank for this Predator.
No, we go
Is
keep
it
the
tank
stock.
engine runs?
We go keep the stock. tank.
We'll make a frame out of it.
Yeah, I don't know what
Would've been perfect.
Well, we
I
got
don't think
different
there would've
tanks
been room.
too. Yeah, I've got some different tanks as well. I want to thank some of our sponsors. Obviously, Brake Clean from CRC. We always have to have our Brake Clean and our Power Lube.
Yeah.
Pioneer Car
That
Audio.
brake cleaner stuff worked good too.
You like it?
Yeah.
What did you
worked
use it
real
on?
good. On his heads I was using.
Yeah.
Man, it was dirty, but yeah, it came out real good.
I used on the head replacement too on that little 6.5. It works. I had oil that was on my stand that wouldn't come off, and man, I just shot that on there. We love CRC. It's the official brake parts cleaner of Roadkill. I want to thank the guys from Roadkill for giving us a little mention on their Facebook page today, announcing the podcast. In fact, this is a current issue of Roadkill.
Yeah, I think.
And Alana went to school with Emmanuel. She's a big mini bike advocate and a big fan. And she has a nice article here on mini bikes if you guys haven't had a chance to get the current issue of Roadkill. So we're doing some final disassembly. You can see we've got this Predator 6.5 totally disassembled. We're going to go with a stage 1. That would be the governor removal. Again, we would put on a different pipe. We would put on a different air filter system. As we morphed into stage 2, we progressed with intake. This is a Mikuni 22. Again, we got all this stuff from Small Engine Cams. What else are we going to do in stage 2? I know that... I'm sorry?
The rod?
Yeah,
Rod,
rod
okay.
has to go in.
So this is a billet rod as well. Why? Tell everybody about the advantages of the billet rods, would you, Charles? And the bearings here.
This is the first thing that breaks. It's like what, 6,500 RPM.
Oh yeah.
The stock rod will break on you, and it's like, well, now these are what? How much you sell these for? Tim?
It's
The
for
Predator.
the Predator. It's 83 on my site.
Wow.
83.
That's a good value.
It's not expensive.
No.
But, you got to have it. This is like,
A must.
it doesn't produce any extra power. That's why people don't like to buy stuff that don't give you any more power. But this actually allows you to make more power.
It's the foundation, isn't it? The building block. Plus, guess what,
Motor
Yeah,
lasts
bearing
longer.
with it, too.
Yeah.
Charles? And just if I can,
The bearings make a
Look.
big difference.
even if you don't own a mini bike, look how cool this thing is.
Yeah.
You should have this just to have
this
on
the
your
first
desk.
thing people do when
You
they
just
buy
have this on
something
your
shiny,
desk.
They take a picture of it and say, "Look, it's brand new and shiny." Especially them flywheels. Put them together.
Even the
That's
head.
how they do. They'd be so shiny. They'd be like, "Oh, look
Tim,
at this."
when you supported the event, there you go. Or here.
he's
When you
ready
supported
for
the
it.
event, you
Ready for it?
gave us some camshafts to give away. When we took the camshaft, look at this. We took the camshaft out of the bag. This was like a work of art, man.
Tim grinds
So for
up
all
the
you
best
guys
camshafts.
who again may not be into mini bike engines or mini bike builds, you've got to buy a mini bike camshaft
It's
and connect
signed
it.
on there too. Read it.
Oh yeah, well, my eyes are worse
I was
than yours.
checking it out.
It's a
But
custom
the
grind.
lobes and it's just cool stuff.
At the 90.
Big Daddy Mamba.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh,
You know,
You're
I
online?
remember JD had one on there, and they said something about JD.
I had
custom
one
grind.
on mine, too.
That was yours.
Well, it
It
said
said
Evil
JD's
Ed.
custom grind.
Said Evil Ed, yeah.
yeah, you
Evil
did one
Ed.
from.
You know what?
Big
Now
Daddy
you know that just
Mamba.
brought back a memory, right?
It personalizes a lot of
You know
games,
that brought back a memory, right? Evil Ed. You know, right? You see, now we all here.
Oh,
Evil Ed. It used to be. That's why I don't know if they didn't want me to talk about it or not.
Yes, we
But it
do.
used to be a rivalry between Evil Ed and Brian right here.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, we covered
we
that.
did?
Yeah, the last show.
Oh, I forgot all about it. You know?
That's a good one though.
Yeah, I forgot all about it. But now it's a rivalry between these two.
Not so much.
You know,
Not so much.
they want to race each other, but their weight is not even. That's the problem right there. They can't really meet in the middle, you know. But they both build similar
I
type
got
of
both
builds
flex
right
over
there.
there.
Uh oh.
I got
Both legs.
jumping rope, and we got our Reyes boxing show. We'll get these guys lined
I'm trying to
up.
gain weight so we could race. Remember that, Ed?
Yeah.
Look, I want to tell you, man. In the spirit of what we're doing,
those were the days.
it sure was. I mean,
Louisiana
that's-
chicken.
Oh,
Lord,
Lord.
baby.
Chow mein on the house.
I didn't realize Ed was full of piss and vinegar. I started watching some of those old videos of Ed. Man,
Yeah.
swearing like a
Yeah,
soldier.
you know what? He used to be going down the street pretty fast.
You got that cigarettes going.
We were
pacing
running
that
good in the
parking
eighth.
lot. It's
You
like,
know
Yeah,
what?
they
I
did.
think Tim you rode Evil Ed bike before too, didn't you? Yeah.
So-
Yeah, he
so
rode
I
it.
showed up at the street races one night on a little putt mini bike, you know.
What kind, Timmy?
Oh, I mean, it was like something I just threw together out of a used clone engine that
All right.
started with some kid, Johnny.
Johnny,
Yeah.
Infamous Johnny.
Oh.
Johnny needed some cash, huh?
Yeah.
He was in a bind.
So I pull up on this thing and JD's like, "Who is that in that helmet?" And, "Oh, it's Tim. Hey, we want to put you on Ed's bike." And so they're filming me, and I go,
Yeah, I filmed it. Yeah.
"Whoop!" Oh,
Yeah,
and
bogged out.
My pant leg got sucked into the carburetor.
Yeah.
It was kind of a dud run, but it ran good. I
Yeah.
turned back around and took it for a spin.
That thing always ran good.
Yeah. That's when you wanted to go faster.
Yeah.
too.
8800
That's
he spun
exactly
that
how
night.
it goes.
8800
You get on the
RPM.
bike and you feel the power, and you say,
All right.
I need it. No. The bad part is when you go back to your bike and you look at your bike like,
Damn.
man, this thing is slow. See, when you at first the bike was fun and exciting.
Well, you remember-
Till get on somebody else's
I
bike
remember
that's faster.
that
Yeah.
very few kids were able to really get like a mini bike. Everybody just wanted them, especially like from what I remember. And the kids that got the mini bikes, they weren't the ones that really, really wanted them or appreciated them. And so their parents would bring them in some shiny little red mini bike with a 2.5 fucking horsepower motor, and you knew it was going to happen. That kid was happy for like a half a day.
And then his friend beat him.
No, and the second day you just realized that thing was just slow as shit. And to your point, you know the deal. It's like I had a 3.5 horsepower the first time. It's after the second day, it's like I don't even want to ride it. It's too damn slow.
Yeah, all your friends had 5 horse.
Oh, dogging you.
Yeah, the big
Yeah.
dogs. How we make it out over there, George? All right, great.
It's
So,
ready to start putting together now.
all right, so now what are we gonna do, Brian? What's next up here?
I think we're going to
Part-wise.
do the rod, aren't we?
Okay, Rod's here. Charles,
I need
the bearings are right here. What else did we decide to do?
You know what we need? We didn't bring any grease or nothing.
Oh, I got a little bit of. Let me see what I got here.
Simply lube or oil?
Yeah, just
I
maybe.
got some ash oil. I just went to
Get that.
Oh,
When it's hot out, I just
Oh, shit.
little OG Kush.
okay out now.
Ooh, that's that bearing
man.
grease, ain't it?
Put it in the pipe. Do whatever you want. That's
Oh
it.
Lord.
It's bad. You don't want this on your finger, but he go get it on his finger. It's all right.
That's all I have.
I see,
Put that glove
it'll
on
work.
when you wipe it.
I see. You got some Mobile One back there.
Yeah, you got regular motor oil. I would go that route.
One will be better.
No. That's good for the bearing though.
Yeah.
For the rod bearing.
No, you asked for grease.
Yeah.
I know.
No, that's good for
But a
that.
good point, Charles. Would you reach around there and grab that mobile oil? I want to bring that up because I typically would just stick whatever I had around, and I call Brian and say, hey, Brian, we're going to do these builds. I've talked to Charles too many times today. I want to call him up now and ask him about oil. What do you use? And you were the 530 synthetic. Why do you like this particular viscosity? Obviously, the synthetic has its own advantages, but why this viscosity?
Less drag.
Okay. Do you have a preference, Charles? As well?
See, I always think things differently.
Okay.
Right? I always say the story, right? I used to beat guys. It doesn't matter what kind of. See, in kart racing, oil is a big thing. You know, they talk about special blends and all
Yeah.
that stuff. But in the end, when you got horsepower, I can put baby oil
There we
in the
go.
engine. Look,
Got it.
I always say this. They don't like when I say this. I can put baby oil in the engine
Okay.
and beat you. If you got the power, you got the power. But they have special synthetics supposed to help protect the engine.
You're saying that it's all bullshit then, right? I
That's
mean,
what
wait,
he's saying.
They
pretty
got
much.
some oils that is better than the other, but it doesn't matter. If I already got the power, a quarter, a tenth of a horsepower.
all right. I'm with you.
I got it already.
As you recall what I mentioned, typically what I do, I use whatever's around. Like literally.
Yeah. Now, you know what? In this competition, see, I'm in the competition.
Yes.
I hear one oil is better than the other. I want to use the best oil because it's not going to be in my hands, So
I understood that oil.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, let's
just
talk
to touch
about
on
oil.
that,
Yes.
Where that's going to come into play.
Please.
And I understand what Charles is saying. However, with the oils, with the special fuels that we're running, it does get into the bottom end of these little engines.
Yeah.
If you don't have an oil that can handle that mixture,
Blend with it.
will seize and blow up.
Yeah, there
gotta
will be
able to
Why-
mix.
That's why we use.
There'll be a long-term benefit of using a quality oil versus but it's
that's
not
the reason
necessary.
why we use synthetic oil.
Did you need something, Charles?
No. I
Okay,
was
great.
explaining something.
And with that being said, you can run anything from Mobile One to Royal Purple to Amp
Yeah.
Oil to what is the one you can
FHS.
FHS.
Oh, okay, I haven't heard of it.
There are
What about
lots of
Redline?
different blends.
Redline's good.
Red line, yeah,
also
very
good.
good things about red line as well.
And it will increase the longevity of the engine.
Well, let me ask
Yeah.
the man who
Whatever.
sells all the
I
parts.
heard that other one oil y'all had that time was the best oil, won the award out of all these other oils tested.
Am's oil.
I said, I'm gonna have to use that oil.
Yeah,
you did.
Well, they are the
Oh,
official
Brad Penn.
oil of-
See, that's good. I'm glad you
That
brought
was
that
like
up.
third.
Talk,
What
talk
they
about
third?
good oils. JD burned up a bearing in his 390 running a non-synthetic oil or semi-synthetic oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, semi-synthetic.
And that's a good example of why you run better lubricants.
Yeah, okay. Plus,
You know?
it's, I believe that the value of a good oil is that first crank start. First time you're firing it up. Whatever you're going to have as an advantage or a disadvantage, depending on what you use, that's critical. You sell so many of these hard parts, Tim, where it's all metal against metal. You've seen and heard the different stories. Has any oil made its way up through the Escuderia pipeline and gotten your validation?
Well, okay, so with flat tappet cams, obviously with the Isky, my dad's company, since zinc has been taken out of the oil, a lot of guys were wearing out flat tappet cams because I guess the zinc messes with the catalytic converter. So they started the old Kendall factory. Brad Penn stands for Bradford, Pennsylvania. So my brothers always recommend, Brad Penn on it. And now I guess it got bought out again, and the formula's changed supposedly. Now they don't want to reorder it.
Yeah.
So now
Okay.
they're putting Cam Shield in the oil.
Wow.
Which is an oil boost, to boost the zinc
Okay.
in the oil.
Yeah.
So, but basically on flat tappet cams. Now, with these little minibike cams, they're hard face welded, so they don't really wear out.
Yeah.
So that's a welded cam. So
Well, lubrication aside, I think that it is one of those choices, and usually it's one of those things you don't think twice about. You look around, see what you have, and put it in there. But I think the gist of it, guys, is like, look, if you're going through all this, you're going to build a cool bike. I don't know about you, but it's like step up a little bit more, get the decent oil.
It's true.
Yeah, it's like
the cord lasts you two
can
oil
pinch pennies
changes.
a lot of ways. It's ultimately it's like don't sweat the small shit. Step up and buy that. It's an extra $4 or $5. So
especially if you think about the investment involved.
Yeah.
We're talking about a $99 engine that you just put $900 into
Yeah.
to make it fast, and you're not going to spend $10 in a quart of oil.
yeah, you're
Doesn't
not
make
thinking
sense.
right. So in stage 1, it was very basic.
Yeah.
Removal of the governor, essentially letting it breathe a little bit better.
Better.
As we start to get into the pipe, the in and out breathing part of it, right? The stage 2 where we'll literally swap out the connecting rod and the bearings. We'll take a look at the carburetor install as well as the intake. Horsepower wise, what can you see like through a stage 2? We talked about maybe a 2 horsepower gain from 6.5 to like 8.5. What would happen as we start to do the billet rod and
The billet rod and the carburetor,
Yeah.
you gain probably another 3. The carburetor flows a lot,
Oh.
but the head is still stock. So
So we still now we creeping up to like 11? Or are we talking about?
yeah,
10
I
or
would say
11.
something like that.
All right. So on the safe side, guys, you may have taken your engine up another engine. You put a 6.5 with another 3.5 horsepower. You could be up at like 10 horsepower.
And you feel that power
And
difference.
Ed, Tim, where were we like price wise considering what we did? We know we got about 100 and change on a pipe. We got another $20 on an air filter. We've got the rod and the carb and the intake. Where are we? A couple $100, $300?
yeah,
I
60.
mean, roughly $60 for a header. Okay, you get the whole carb kit I sell for $95 on my site. That's
Okay, a little bit over $1.50. You got the connecting rod and the bearings.
$180,
Guys, so for $250 and change,
Yeah,
now you start to give yourself another few horsepower.
And security.
One of the questions that was asked was benefit, disadvantage. Benefit, you get a little bit more horsepower, but as you're bolting on these parts, you're going to get a little bit of a wear out. You get to some point where the hop-ups affect the longevity of it. Are we there at stage 2?
No.
We're really not, are we? Is it? Okay. Yeah, curious about that. That was a good question we had. I think, who was Ruben? Is it on Dark Day? I believe your name was. You had that question.
No questions on the line?
Thank you for that. Have we seen
the
any
live
questions on the Facebook posts? I'll take a peek during the break, and then we'll get to those. While we're getting to our stage 2 and stage 3, I wanted to reach out. Ian from CB
Minibike
Minis. Ian.
Yeah.
He was a guest on the podcast with his family. I really like that dude. And his girlfriend, Jennifer Putnam, who's much younger than us, she struggled recently with a stroke. And so she's way too young for that shit to
That's
happen.
sad.
Yeah, so wishing her the best. And there's a GoFundMe account. I like GoFundMe. I'm sick of giving fucking $20 to the guys in front of Ralph's. 'Cause there's nothing wrong with him. He's driving like a Jeep. He's got an iPhone. But GoFundMe, I like that.
it's directly towards.
Yeah, man.
something,
I don't even trust the UNICEFs and all this other shit they ask you for money. It's like March of Dimes. I don't know where
I
it's
go
going.
to Ralph's and people are trying to give me money.
I just found out that
I'm like, what? No, put it back.
Thank you.
Can't figure it out.
I'll tell you what, man. Your look is what captures everybody's attention. Early on we had these TV show guys following us around. They don't want to know shit about me or my story or these stupid mini bikes. They took one look at it. It's like we got a TV show.
Just like that.
Yeah. We're
Well,
gonna
Ed,
do that TV show. We're
Look,
gonna
brother,
do that TV
I would take an extra 20 if you could when you're over there. How you doing on the cigarettes? Are you smoking as much?
I'm trying not to.
Yeah, you look like you lost weight too.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, you looks like you did. You look good. Yeah, usually there's one or two Evil Ed stalkers every podcast. I like Evil Ed. It's like, oh man. Shouting out to some of our friends who put up with us while we're getting into stage 2. We talked about our guys in Detroit, right? There's a couple other ones out there.
Well, I have to talk about Detroit a little bit.
Go ahead, Charles.
It's like a little feud going with this guy here, Brian, and this other guy, Charles Harris.
Charles Harris.
Yeah.
Let's give Charles a shout out just to give him a little.
Well, currently, he is the record holder
That's
as far
right,
as
yeah.
is the minibike drag racing.
How fast is he going?
763. He ran a 765 and a 763 at 85 mile per hour.
Yeah.
Damn.
8th mile.
Okay.
Big block.
Big block.
Is it true we don't run quarters because we'll fly off of the things?
No.
All right.
Nah, the 8th mile
kinds
is
of people
actually
run
harder
quarter.
to ride
Yeah.
than quarter mile.
I'd rather do 8.
All right. So Charles,
he has the small block.
Charles
they
and
call
Solo
it small block
in the midst of a little. What would you call it? Online communication or?
Yeah, well, because see, I'm going after the record. I have to take down his record.
As a builder or a rider?
Not as a rider, I'm too big.
Yeah. That's
But
right.
as a builder.
Yes.
As a builder, yeah.
I will continue that because I want to talk about that a little bit later on. You know, we had Dave Miller on the podcast. He was our first guest for 2017. And I'm tired of talking about going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And I know that there's 100 horsepower bikes out there. I'm not talking about 100 horsepower engines. I'm talking about going 100 miles an hour on a mini bike.
Yeah, the problem is,
Dead
I
stop
think
in
I
the
got
quarter
a bike
mile.
that can probably do it, but nobody wants to go that fast.
I understand that, which makes it such a...
When you shorten it up to an 8th mile, you cut the mile per hour down. But it seems safer. It's just harder to handle going through the 8th
More
mile.
violent.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, go ahead. What's going on with Detroit then and Solo and Charles?
Well, originally, like I said, Charles Harris has 2 records. I forgot, not just one,
Okay.
2.
What is the second one?
He got the small block record
Okay.
and the big block record clutch.
Got it.
Yeah.
Right now, California has the torque converter record, big block torque converter record, but it's not that
Who has
many
that?
torque converter bikes. Dell.
Okay.
I don't know what's Dell's last.
Del Torres.
Del Torres?
Yeah,
Toros.
Toros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that recently?
Not too long ago.
Where did he lay that down? Recent around here, SoCal?
Bakersfield.
Bakersfield.
Yeah.
Are we cool, George? You ready to go? What do we need over
Ready
here?
for these studs.
All right. So what do we have here? Isky, we got some studs.
You got some
Yeah.
side studs.
Okay. What's the difference with these studs?
A little better clamping for
Great.
and the bolts that come with it.
All right.
That's the rockers, push rods.
Might as well do it right.
Yeah.
All right.
Here's a stud kit I think you're looking for.
Yeah.
Great. Well, do you think there'll be that time where someone shits or gets off the pot and we meet halfway or because
No, see, look, what I was thinking, all right,
Here we
because
go.
I could set it up in
in
Tucson.
California is so hard to ride at the track.
Tucson Dragway. I already
No.
went there. We can race there.
No, that's still too far for them. I want to drive all the way out there,
Oh, you want to go there?
all the way. Cause see, they have events
Let's go.
where it's a 2-day thing.
Let's go.
You can stay there, camp out at the track,
You can ride that Thunderdome.
and you can ride all day long. They don't have the same laws like we do in California.
They ride in the
You can
streets
do
in
whatever.
packs of 20.
And
No,
So
I'm
who
not
would
gonna
go?
do- Not the street. I'm talking about the drag strip.
but you do both. Shit, if we went out there for 2 days, we're going to be riding on the streets if they are too, right? But I would love that. What
go
if?
out there and call it truth.
Truth.
Well, look,
No, it would be like Street Outlaws. California on this side.
Look at him.
You see what I'm saying? You got to have it like this.
Yeah.
But we can't go out. Everybody bike got to be fast though.
Well, look,
That's all I'm saying. I'm not pointing at nobody.
I say
Everybody
we
got
go.
to be fast.
Here's what I would do if we did this. If we met up, if you guys collectively as
bugging.
the insiders formulated the team and who was going, and those guys are responsible for the riders and the bikes, then I'd bring all this in. All the sponsor guys. And we'd get a van, a truck, we'd get a U-Haul, and we'd get one which would carry all our shit, and then we'd get one of those Mercedes Sprinters to carry like 12 of you with those rocking back chairs, and we hire a driver, so he takes us, and we got some other guy that's driving the truck, and it's a 2 deal. All the stuff in the rider truck and all of us in that Mercedes Benz, and we just go.
I was getting excited to ride in your jet plane.
Ed
Whoa.
has it. Ed's got it for the whole summer.
Damn it.
Yeah. Well, he booked it though.
It's
he
done.
get all of this.
Can't use that.
Yeah.
Well, no, really, the problem is I let Harrison Ford take it, and he fucked it up. He crashed it. We
Crash
know.
landed.
It's the second time fucking my plane up.
He
That
landed
guy,
off
I swear, man, he ain't thinking. Yeah, well, Detroit, I like the guys, and I have an affection to folks in Detroit because I have many good friends there. 10, the organization that publishes Roadkill and Motor Trend, a lot of what they do is based out of Detroit. So I've got all those guys back there. We're kind of heading towards the break, our first break. You know, we break around midway. How we doing over there, George? Looking good.
Bottom ends together.
Bottom ends together.
We wanted to probably talk a little bit about the head before it goes on.
Yeah, let's do that. This is a special head, George, that you put together. Charles, talk a little bit about what we crafted there.
This would be like you say, stage 3.
Okay.
You got to have this, the springs, locks, retainers, aftermarket, valve jobs, stainless steel valves. He actually milled it a little bit. I don't know how much he milled it. How much he milled it?
360.
60,000. You get the compression a little higher.
Yep. And that's a couple $100, $225 item if they call in or something like that, George?
Yeah.
Great.
You need this, though. You can't just put a cam in. A lot of people are like, yeah, you put the cam in. You can't put the cam in without upgrading the valve train.
When you're installing the cam, any little tips or tricks when you're dropping that in there? Any do's or don'ts?
Now, with the most of the engines, the mild engines, you run a cast cam. You normally can just put it straight in. Unless the cam is real large, then you might have to clearance the block a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, and we don't have to do that, obviously, with this cam selection.
No, not with this cam.
And again, this cam, what is it, the 310? What is it?
Daddy Mamba. It's
Nice.
This cam go back.
Big
I don't know how
that
many years
camshaft's
now. It go
named
back
after
a
him.
long time. Yeah. He's the guy. Tim come up with these crazy names. That's what it is.
Well, he knows, man.
This one's an MDB.
Daddy.
The MDB, the Mini Drag Bike Mamba Special. Damn, Charles, look at you.
Well, even when I do if you just put Daddy Mamba on there, they still want to know what is it exactly, right?
Not on my website.
And I can spend 30 minutes explaining to the people what it is, and then they'll forget the next day.
I'm going to close down the, well, not close it down. I'm going to try to wrap up the deal on Detroit, right? Look, ain't nothing but love on both sides, right? We try to get along with everybody. We're all having a good time out here. They're all having a good time.
Well, I don't know what's going on with him and Brian.
Oh, that's okay.
It just,
Dude.
Yeah, that's okay. Brian's a big boy, and I'm sure Charles is. Otherwise, he better be. But we want to come out there not with our hands up. We want to come up there with our hands down. You want to have a little fun?
It's all about racing.
You want to do that? Then we'll do that. We'll set that up. Otherwise, Calvin, you aside, you guys don't want none of this. You don't want what we got out here. No, we like you guys, but it's sunny over here. It's snowing over there. There's a reason.
Oh.
All right.
Preach,
So it's
Joe.
Joe's Minibike Reunion Podcast. We're going to take a quick little time out on the official broadcast, but if you want to stick around and come back, we'll probably break for about 10, 15 minutes, and we'll wrap up this Predator 6.5 build. Compliments of all these experts here. Charles Mini Drag Bike Mosley, both Brian and Frank from F&B Racing. We've got Tim from Small Engine Cams. We've got George from GT, and don't forget the hobby end of it. We got Evil Ed taking handouts over at the Ralphs, and we've got Emmanuel hacking it up behind the command board there. We'll see you guys in about 15 minutes. Thanks for listening in.
Let's go live one day.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Joe's Mini Bike Reunion Podcast. It's our second podcast for 2017, and we are battling the mosquitoes. I got to tell you, you guys may be battling that snow, but we've battled 3 or 4 mosquitoes. It's tough out here, guys. I got to tell you. So if you have any sympathy for us, I know you guys are battling it, but it's tough out here with all this heat. Now, just rubbing it in, all of our friends in Detroit. Speaking of our friends in Detroit, we've had a couple comments. Carl Mazelovsky wants you to know that he's putting some Isky products in his Cheetah, Tim. Fat Ass Coughlin.
Shout out, Tim.
All right.
Shout out, Tim.
Marvin Braxton. He says Detroit's here and we hold our own down. Detroit, the name in itself should hold respect to the minis. Just the icing on the cake. Well, I got your shirt on, Marvin.
Yeah.
You don't have to get mad about it. You know, I am the 1982 arm wrestling champion in my division, so don't get me started, Marvin. Dan Gear says he enjoys listening to you guys talk, but he also loves to see exactly what they're doing to the engine. More video on the engine. Well, we do have.
We got live.
It's set up. Are we not using it enough for you?
SS.
I'm on it.
SS.
That's right.
Dan,
Secret shit.
There you go.
so we're
Some of those parts
gonna
are
do
still
that,
floating
Dan.
around.
Oh.
It's crazy.
Brad DeMoisey, he wants to know where he got the shirt. Well, Brad, I don't know that you can just necessarily ask where my shirts are from, but I'm going to tell you anyways. It was a gift from a nice guy from Detroit, my buddy Calvin Carisi.
Hey.
In fact, I don't know if we can get a shot of that Frankenstein, that laser cut piece of metal up there. Yeah, take that down for me, would you? How cool. Thanks, George. Yeah, this was done by Calvin, and he sent that to me as well as these cool shirts from me and Ed, and that's where I got the shirt, Brad. So I don't know if I have to be in some club or something. I gotta put me in the club then. I have to keep these glasses on because I can't read anymore. Charles Harris. Charles Harris says good things. Thank you, Charles. Jake Moe listening in. How about it, Jake? Good to hear from you, buddy. I'd love to see you sometime soon. I know that D Racer was out with Jake Moe and a few other guys riding out.
Palmdale.
Palmdale.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know Jake is building a new bike or something. He was selling his old bike.
He's got a roper with a little Raptor motor on it. Dave Miller was giving him some props when Dave was on.
Nice.
And Jake's just said something about those guys up there. I love them all, man.
Yeah.
I just wish they were closer, you know?
Good family man.
Yes. I think I put one up there, George.
He got it.
So, let's see here. But we love Detroit. Just in case you guys were confused about what we were saying, we're just having a little bit of fun there. I don't know. There's just too many questions out there. All right, we're getting into phase 3. What's the progression up there, Charles? What's George been up to?
Looking like he about 10 minutes away or something, maybe.
So what do we've
pipe
essentially
on,
put in the
oil.
We removed the governor. We put in the billet rod. We put in the light flywheel. We have a carburetor that is rejetted. It's a Mikuni 22 that's going to go in. We picked this up over at Small Engine Cams. Look, he even shows up with a damn cable in there for $80, huh? Please. You know, no one's going to put the cable in there. They're going to charge you the extra what? $8? Isky shows up with the cable. We've got in and out. We've got the F&B pipes. And like I said before, Brian doesn't even want to sell the stage ones, okay? You're just a poser. What are you going to do with the stage 1, all right? We want to go right to stage 3, or otherwise Brian's going to put you on hold, and he's not going to ask you you got to answer your questions about the pipes. Now, Frank will. Frank told us that they come in different sizes, different stages, different textures, whether it's raw or polished or chrome.
Well, I know they make a drag version.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
Now, I got one on there, don't I? Do I have a
for
drag?
guys that's
so, yeah.
serious
Yeah.
about going faster, the drag version. This would be like I used to call it the cruiser pipe, but they don't call it the cruiser. This is more like the universal pipe. It fits like all frames, but the other one is more of a drag style.
Yeah.
You know, it's straight back.
There was one that we're showing, Charles, on another Predator that I had back there.
Now, what I would have liked to see, right? Because I know he had his engine dyno tested a while ago. Was there a dyno test from one pipe to the other? That's what we was talking about, the RPM difference. But I didn't think you got to do that.
No, Brad tested the center exit 3-stage with our drag style 3-stage, and there was quite a bit of difference. Almost, I don't quote me, but I know it was like close to 3/4 of a horsepower more.
Yeah.
Going to the drag style.
Quarters of, that's what I'm saying. Was the RPM gain?
Yeah, I don't remember all those numbers, but
You know, we mostly talk about mile per hour, at least out here. If it was, say, 300 RPM more,
yeah,
that might be a mile per hour.
Yeah.
Right there.
it's definitely breathing better.
Tim, do we got Tim on mic? Guys were asking us where we got some of the parts. I'm sorry for those of you who I didn't make it clear. Most of the parts that we have that we're using in this build were made available through Small Engine Cams. Tim has been talking a little bit, but he hadn't been mic'd during the first part of the podcast, so he's got a microphone in his hand. And one of the questions that was asked was like, where did we get the intake? So all these parts came to us. And Tim, again, just give us a little bit of an idea of some of the parts that you brought over for this build, will you?
Okay, so what I try to tell guys is I usually try to steer them in the direction of billet rod, billet flywheel first. That way they don't blow the block apart, you know, because when those things go, sometimes the whole thing grenades. So I try to tell guys, hey, once you get the billet rod and flywheel in there, now you have a strong foundation. And then from there, start putting the speed parts in there. And the flywheel itself comes with stronger magnets, this billet flywheel, so it's going to throw a stronger spark. And some people report a little bit of a power gain there.
Yeah.
But it's not really known as a power part, but, you know, more of a, you don't want that stock flywheel blowing up and taking your leg out. Killing
Right.
it, you know what I mean? So...
I guess all the importance of a clutch cover too, guys.
Yeah.
You ever notice how many guys are still wheeling around with exposed clutches? So when I was, I as a part of a buy I had, I bought a couple of Ruttmans, and a guy threw in I think it was one of these new Tecumseh 6 horsepowers or 6.5. It was the one where the cylinder head was bad. So I replaced the head. I slapped on a clutch. I threw it on the red bike before I put the Clinton on. I fired the bike up, and it stalled, and I pull started that thing. I hit the gas, and that clutch just flew out.
Wow.
Springs, cardboard,
Blew
metal.
apart.
I had flip-flops on, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
It's not just the
Flip-flops
performance
is the
parts,
number
man.
one killer right
Oh,
there.
yeah. Well, when I saw that photo with the
You got
guy's
the-
foot literally tore off his leg, and it was just a stump, it's like, whoa. So we did, I saw carburetors, and we saw the billet rod, and we saw everything, the fuel lines, the bearings, everything you brought over.
Yeah, so you got a nice little kit here. So we got the foundation of the billet rod and flywheel. So we got a Daddy Mamba cam, which is similar to my 310 246, but with MDB's little such secret tweak to it.
Yeah,
so
hopefully
we got that cam. We got some heavy duty push rods, some Champion rockers. Got a nice BBR built head on there with some bigger valves. Nice F&B pipe and 22 Makuni kit. So
And we said this take about an hour. It's, you know, and we've been bullshitting in between. It's not as if we've been focused just on building the engine, but as you can see, it's like taking shape already.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what do you guys do? We don't use the gas tank typically. I have a couple that I purchased, some of these barrel tanks, Charles. And
Yeah.
I've
those
yet to
are nice.
find a
This
3x8s,
one.
but I want to give a shout out to Gerald.
LS.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
LS
He
Customs.
made me a nice,
Oh,
a
yes,
real
and
nice one.
Gerald,
Yeah.
Gerald
I want to
does
give you a
some
shout
good
out. You know, one guy I wanted to mention before I forget is a good friend of mine from Toyo Tires, Steve Warner. Steve gives us all that cool stuff for the show. You know how we give all this stuff to the kids, the paddles, and he's been a big supporter. So thank you, Steve, for the support there. I'm sorry, what were we talking about, Charles?
You were talking about the gas tanks.
Yeah, the gas tanks. I bought like 3 of those because I couldn't find the 3x8s, and then I saw Gerald's posts, and he's making some beautiful tanks.
Yeah, he made me one, put my name on it, and it looked like a gun barrel or something on the end or something. It's
Well,
real
Gerald
nice.
made that custom tank for the
It's like
green.
a 10x4. I think it's 10x4.
Well, we made it the same size as the Fiberlock product. It was green. It
Right.
was used on the
Yeah.
Fiberlock bike, and he was just starting off using some of the new machinery that he uses to make that. He did a great job. You know, he's been battling his own little issues with some cancer, and
Cancer, yeah.
he's beaten the shit out of it so far. So we wish you the best, Gerald, and a big shout out to you and any of you listeners out there that want a really cool custom tank. Let us know, and we'll hook you up with Gerald. Also, want to give a shout out to Temecula Bob. You noticed this frame when you first rolled in here. So when Frank
Yeah.
rolls in and he notices the frame, great welds on this thing, huh?
It's a nice piece.
So, and if you could, Brian, would you mind just unveiling the underneath
Oh.
this? This is the engine that we're going to put in that little bike. Charles, could you mind opening up that?
Goodness.
Yeah, so we can't quite figure out how that what is that? A 670 V-twin?
cc V-twin.
So I don't know how we're gonna get it to fit in this thing. So we
Gotta
gotta
be a Detroit killer.
Yeah. So
Uh-oh.
guys in Detroit, I'm telling you, man, this is the shit that we're up to. So just saying. So you can put that down.
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't want to scare anybody. Because what's it say here? Don't be afraid, Detroit. We want to scare them. We
Nah.
want to scare them with the big engines under there.
They got plenty of big motors.
We have had 2,080 people join us tonight. I think it's one of our larger podcasts. Thank you for that. I want to thank the folks from Roadkill who made a little mention of the fact that we have this podcast. That's probably where we got 2,700 out of the 2,800. So thank you for that. In fact, I hope to have David Freiberger on. Alana, who is our editor. I told you guys earlier that she's a big mini bike fan. I was trying to thumb through the magazine to find the mini bike stuff. Ed, maybe you can help me find the mini bike article in here. They have been promoting things. We talked about going out to the drag strip. Charles, what's happening? Or Brian, you were talking to me about something happening maybe in, is it Hesperia?
Yeah, up in the high desert.
Talk about that.
They're looking into opening up the old Hesperia airport airport as a drag strip. So, I mean, there hasn't been any updates on that, but I know there was a big group out there on Sunday looking over the airport and had cones. It looked like they were serious about it.
There's an event called Hell on Wheels that Dave Miller talked about where they're already running bikes and you can do whatever you want. He said, you just call them up and tell them you want to run mini bikes. And I actually liked that because I didn't want to have to continue to be the guy leading that march. I just wanted to go.
I did that before Hell on Wheels.
But they're just
But it
running
was
100
dirt,
feet, or is
wasn't
it 8 miles?
Was it dirt? It was.
If they could do an eighth of a mile, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's got to be 8.
That's all we need. Having any luck, Ed?
Yeah, page 40.
Great. Ed's sifting through the current issue of Roadkill. Roadkill's available. Used to only be available at the
Here we go, right
newsstand. I don't know if you guys remember this torpedo. It was on eBay a long time ago. And I bought it. And I had it as part of the collection. It reminded me of an old rat rod. Everything was just kind of cobbled together. It was all rusted out. And I sold it to Alana when she started to get the mini bike fever. And her and a couple of her friends, gals, tore through that with the help of, I think, Alana's husband. And they rebuilt the whole thing, the whole engine, the whole bike. The first thing she said after she finished it was too slow. So she knows her stuff, and she was on our podcast before. Look at that stuff, just great stuff.
Yeah.
And anything that promotes mini bikes, especially in this format, in this cool of a magazine,
Yeah.
it's just great stuff for us. It's great stuff for all of us. So thank you, Roadkill, for continuing to promote the whole mini bike craze. These magazines are available on your newsstand now, and you can subscribe to them now. In fact, all the blowout cards, when you open up a magazine, all this stuff flies out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now instead of $10 for a copy, because it only comes out 4 times a year, it's a quarterly, you can get it for half price, which is a pretty good deal. I got a little love in there also too. You can go through it and find it if you like. In fact, if you like a copy of Roadkill, send me a note and I'll send you one while I can. And no, I don't have any friggin' T-shirts. Congratulations, we talked about Kalman.
Can I get my free pipe?
Yeah, you'll get the free pipe. You and the guy from Palmdale. We talked about Jen, who was recovering. I want to recognize Christine, who is Emmanuel's wife, who has been dealing with issues with her scleroderma. She's celebrating 5-year milestone today. And we're shooting for the next 5 and the next 5 and the next 5. And Emmanuel, I want to wish Christine as well as you and the kids. I know that your daughter was celebrating her little birthday with that friggin' jump tent. I can still hear him screaming. I saw the guy setting up the jump tent. I say, how much for the jump tent? He said $300. I said, I'll give you $500 to get this friggin' thing out of here. It's like, no, I can't do it. I said, all right, I'll play along. So I jumped in the jump tent until they kicked me out. I want to, Lent is here. That's why I'm not drinking beer. I wasn't dumb enough to give up everything, so I still have a little tequila. But I gave up drinking beer for Lent, and I know some folks have been giving up smoking.
It's awesome.
That's good.
For Lent.
Trying.
So I have some relatives that have given up smoking. My sister-in-law, my brother-in-law. So congratulations to them for the good effort. That'll be only good things. Some shout-outs. Shane Fuller, Rack Goner, Curtis Kersey, Dan Smucksta, Susan Curry, Ron Jones, Corona Irving, Todd Cahoe, LaDon Bird, Lil Nate Jackson, Bill Freeman, Neck.
I know Susan.
Neck is
Neck.
yeah. Everybody
was
knows
just telling
Neck.
me to add more nitro.
Yeah.
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 We got into a little thing about that.
He loves that.
Neck reached out because I went to Pomona. Me and Peter from SEMA rolled out to Pomona, and we hadn't been in a little while. In fact, Peter had never been to Pomona. Imagine going to Pomona for the first friggin' time. He wanted to buy everything. I had to tackle him. It's like no, but we went and we saw.
The swap meet? You talking about the swap
We went
meet?
to Pomona Swap.
Oh,
we
man,
saw
it's
Paul.
huge, man.
We saw Paul,
It's
who was at
huge.
Max selling the
Yeah.
little frames. We saw Matt. We
Yeah.
saw
Matt goes.
Don, and then we saw the $1,200 mini bike guy.
Is that?
Everything's $1,200, $1,500.
Yeah.
People were
That's
running
how I
away from
first
him.
met Mac at the swap meet.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
Man, that was like
years
oh,
ago.
Man, that was like at least 15 years ago or something.
When I first moved here and went
probably.
there, I went back every time I could. The problem is at the time I really didn't have a dependable car to know if I was going to get there and back, and I didn't have the extra $500 if you saw something, or let alone $4,000 or $5,000 if you wanted to buy it. I didn't have that, so it really, as much as I like going, it sucked because I didn't have the means to do anything.
Yeah.
Now you kind of do, but
Kind of a waste of
so
a
going once
trip.
every few years instead of once every or a few times every month. But we went and had a good time. Saw all the mini bike nuts out there. I was looking at that small micro that he purchased from Temecula Bob, and they're putting in those 3 horsepower Predators, which fit it perfectly in there. So
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go that route. And I didn't realize it, but you can't buy them in
You know,
California.
if you can possibly get one of those takeoff engines from the Doodlebug, it's like a 2.8, something like that.
Yeah, it's a 2.5 horse.
Yeah.
That will fit right up.
But that
Yeah.
3 horsepower Predator fits in there great.
Yeah, you can get one of those takeoff Doodlebug engines like free almost.
Okay, so
I don't know
now
what they do with them.
here we are. We're kind of like final assembly, huh?
Yeah.
So do a little recap for us, can you, Charles?
Well, we got a fuel pump, carb intake, 3-stage header, studs. You don't really necessarily have to have. We would have used the stock bolts, but you know, studs is like a nice touch from Tim.
Great.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
and so you know, we got studs. The whole engine is studded actually. So it
Yeah,
should
nice
make
little
a
touch on that,
should
huh?
Make a little power. It
Great.
should be a little poppy, you know,
Yeah.
we like to call it, but.
What do we want to do on a tank? What do you want to set up? Want to use a stock one on a little barrel tank? I got one in a box. There's one right behind you. I got a couple little boxes of parts. Let me see if I can help out here. Right there. Joe. Yeah, let me see if we can find a little. Yep, in there we got a tank.
Yeah. Just put half of it. 16 ounces.
Yeah, 16 ounces.
How about a tank?
Oh yeah. See, that's how I gotta have it. Well, you can just go and get you a tank. These like these. These are some nice little tanks right here.
Yeah.
I don't know if they gave us the right one. Nope, we need a threaded one. So how about this? I may have one inside. See if I got a little valve, gas valve.
It's a big cap.
Yeah.
Charles, when we're talking about this stage 3, where are we going to be now horsepower? We climbed up to almost 10
Oh,
horsepower. With the
yeah.
stage
Now we over doubled. We finna be about 2.5 times. Yeah, we finna be up there.
13,
finna be in
13
the-
and a half, 14.
Nah, with the cam, all that stuff, it's an easy
17.
16, 17. It's up there. These things all hung up or something.
Yeah, it was just me.
Oh, okay. But yeah, it's up there now.
So where do you think we'll end up horsepower-wise?
Easy 16, 17, somewhere around there.
Okay,
Horsepower.
so we graduated from stage 1. We grabbed a couple horsepower with a couple little items. A pipe, removed the governor, a little air filter. We went on to stage 2. We included things like billet rods. We put a new carburetor on there. We rejetted it. Obviously, the new bearings went with the connecting rod. We had a head that was installed in stage 3. We also included a lighter flywheel,
Fuel pump.
fuel pump. What am I missing, Timmy?
Well,
We just need oil, pretty much.
So we got some oil.
oil and gas.
We got some
and
oil.
gas. It
We got
should
some
be able
gas
to start
behind
up.
you. Hey, Ed, I wonder if you would help me with a little announcement we have here.
Sure.
Yeah, that's it. You guys want to start that on the table
You want me to
or out in the driveway?
Want to mount it on the
Oh, we'll
No,
start right in here.
We're gonna talk. I thought we were going to talk.
Oh yeah, we are. There's a couple of things we want to do. So, as we lubricate this baby, one of the highlights of the Joe's Minibike reunion each year is not only the giveaway. In fact, we had an F&B giveaway that we had last year. But one of the big things, at least in my mind, is the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame has been something that it's grown in prestige and popularity, and it's almost now like, wow, there's a lot of people doing a lot of good things in this industry. It's tough to find people that you want to recognize over others. And you had just asked about the date, Tim, and I have to wait 6 months typically before my date is announced, and it's usually in October. So around March, I'll be able to announce the date of what will be our 6th annual Joe's Minibike reunion here in La Crescenta. So 6 years has gone by pretty quick.
Yeah.
One of the things that I love the most is the Hall of Fame. And I'm looking at a Hall of Famer here and a Hall of Famer here. And I'm happy to say that I'm looking at 2 other Hall of Famers right here in front of me right now. Brian and Frank, you are nominated into the Joe's Minibike Reunion Hall of Fame for 2017. I'm going to give you a little head start on the hats. You see the custom Hall of Fame hats
Appreciate
there?
that.
Yeah.
This is in recognition of not only
Congratulations.
all the efforts that you've made, but the reputations that you've made on your own, the work that you've done with the bikes, the work that you've done with the pipes, the work that you've done racing, the work that you've done talking shit and being who you are. I love everything about that. I love the time that I've had, not only meeting you guys, but spending with you. I couldn't think of 2 guys, really, obviously, that I would have wanted to put into the Hall of Fame, and I talked to Ed about it as well. So congratulations, and we'll have a little bit more of a formal ceremony for you in October sometime. But welcome to the Hall of Fame, Brian
appreciate
and
it,
Frank.
Joe. Thank you.
Yep, congratulations, man. Good stuff. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Plus, I had the 2 extra hats laying around too, right, Ed? It's like them giving you money over at the Ralph's.
Give him to Frank.
Yeah, it's like, fuck, give it to Ed.
I have a little,
Just don't ask for
I have a
shirt,
little
right,
history
Joe?
with Brian. We was the only 2 back in the day that was in the mini bikes on the Carton website. So it was like 99.9999%
Against you two?
cars,
And
it
then
was
you
only
two got
2
Bob.
mini bike guys. Yeah.
Well, I remember some of those stories when we first talked about it, and you know, in the root of every good rivalry is a lot of mutual admiration, and probably a little bit of jealousy, a little bit. You know, there's all that stuff mixed up. That's nothing. That's like nitro inside of our motor, man. That's what fuels us, and it's all good. And look at us. We're all cramped into this 20 by 20 garage, so obviously we're all benefited from all the fun times we had, good and bad, right? So we got this little tank here. I've got some C-clamps on there if you just want to C-clamp it on there. Yeah, we just hold it up and fire it up.
Putting a zip tie.
Yeah, oh hell, we got a zip tie right there. One zip tie right for
Trusty
you.
zip tie.
There's
Yeah,
one
my
right where my
vibrate too
tools
much.
are.
Just hold it.
Just hold it, Charles.
We got one right for you. I knew it.
Vibrate too much.
I got a C-clamp
Not
too.
if somebody's holding it.
There we go. Let's try this. Let's try this. I got a little something for us. Right out of here. Either one? Does that work? Those are mine. Those will work.
You don't clamp it to the header.
Sorry.
Give me one of those rings.
So, financially, we went from $99 to a couple $100 with Tim, and we were done with stage 1. Stage 2, we got to about maybe $300, and we went from 6.5 horsepower to almost 10 horsepower. In total, including the engine and the parts, including the pipe, stage 3 got us to $500 and change, Ed.
Yep.
$500 got us from 6 horsepower to almost 16, did you say, Charles?
Yeah, 16.
Yeah, an easy 16, easy. with this kit.
So that's where we've gone. Now, Charles, our plan was to stick some oil and some gas into this thing and fire it up. We've got a little mock gas tank there.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out how to mock the gas tank up.
Okay.
Realistically, dollars wise, I believe Tim and I were just talking about, we're probably close to about $700 in upgrades on there, $700-800.
That's what we talked about. And that's not too bad of a deal.
And making about approximately 16, 17 horsepower.
Yeah.
All right. So now when you do that, you don't want to put some 4-inch tires on there from Craigslist, right? By the time you get yourself some nice wheels, probably like a 6-inch wheel, some decent tires, and there's a lot of decent tires out there, you then have to get some other things, basics, a seat, some grips, a throttle assembly. I don't know, depending on what else you decided to do, you're pretty much there. We talked about frames. Frames are getting up there in price. Guys, when you want a really cool bike where it's a modified engine and an older brand bike like a Bonanza or a Taco, or for that matter, a Little Indian, and then you get all the little ancillary items, your mini bike's a couple $1,000 and change.
If you do it really right, you do it real nice.
Yes, one that Tim, one that you can bring out. It shows some signs of hot rod. It's got a quality look to it. It's a couple $1,000 commitment. Not that bad of a deal. Not that bad of a deal to have something so cool as this, something nostalgia, something from the 60s, something from the 70s. And guys, when you consider the power plant and how important it is, that's a pretty good value. $700-800 doing it up.
Joe, a couple of things that some people always overlook when it comes to the mini bikes and going fast and spending all this money here and making this motor as fast as it's going to be. The brakes become a real important factor on the bikes.
Without a
That's
doubt.
one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about with our frames is that I don't put scrub brakes in anything. I'll either put a band brake or a drum style
I love the
brake
band brakes.
or a disc brake because going fast, you need to be able to stop. I
Yep.
can't tell you how many people haven't been able to stop at the end of the street.
Yep.
And that's when somebody really gets hurt because you're going fast.
Good
you
point,
can't
Frank.
Stop.
Good point.
Yeah.
I like the clutch brakes. I inherited one on a couple of Ruttmans that I brought. I'm going to put a clutch brake on this. Drum brakes, what do you do when you get a flat tire? Or
Scrub brake.
Scrub brakes. I'm sorry. Disc brakes. I love that setup that we did on this. Ultimately, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Not really set up for everybody. How are we looking?
It's ready. Just need fuel. That's
George, first of all, I want to thank you for an awesome job as always. That's why you're here. Guys, if you want to get your engine done the right time, the first time, check him out. George, how can folks get a hold of you?
Instagram. They actually hit me up on the stickers I gave you. It's have my Instagram thing, my number.
What's the Instagram information?
It's on just Big Belly Racing.
Okay. What's your phone number? Do you know? Guys, I don't know mine. Everything's automatic on my phone. Somebody asked me to. It's like I have no idea
That happens
what my
a lot.
phone number
People
is.
don't even know their numbers.
323
684
684
6673.
6673. Give him a call. You're usually not there. You're worse than getting a hold of friggin' Tim. Now, who do I get? Is it Rafa that I get instead of you?
I think you hit a route.
Yeah. All right. So there's a guy out here who wants you to finish his bike for him, and he's been asking very nice. His name is Jack Boyd. So if he called up, get back to
I
him.
think you spoke to Rafa.
Yeah. And I tell all these guys, look, I had no problem sending it to my buddies. They're all going to charge you double. Charles, how can folks get a hold of you? I know you're.
I gave my number out, I think, before.
Yeah, but they
But I
want.
wanted to say I wanted to talk about the challenge.
Yes, and
This
we're
is what I'm
we're
saying.
going to close on that.
Okay.
What Charles is alluding to is there's an upcoming engine building challenge, and it has been the talk. In fact, there was a big part of the podcast we talked about, which included Brian as well. These engine building opportunities, and there's a lot of guys that talk the talk, but very few of them actually submit an engine for consideration and for the competition. But Charles has been involved in it for a long, long time, and he's been a winner for that competition. But ultimately, although I don't think this engine's going to quite have what it takes to win the competition, we're going to talk a little bit about that. Let's fire this one up first. And Charles, where can folks get a hold of you just quickly?
Normally on Facebook. Most people can send me a message or whatever, or they call me. Normally I don't give my number out.
Yeah.
Because
So on
people be
Facebook,
calling me up all day long.
I've read some of the posts, man.
Yeah, but mostly just inbox me. Minidragbike. You can find me on Facebook.
All right. Brian and Frank, how about you guys?
Straight through the F&B Racing Facebook page. Inbox us there.
Awesome. Tim, smallenginecams.com, or is that how it works?
Yeah, email Tim Isky at smallenginecams.com. Call me at 310-769-6880.
Talk in the microphone.
Oh, if I don't pick
Give that
up,
number
I
again.
have an answering machine.
Just give the number again,
Tim?
Tim.
I'm always behind.
Tim had a microphone. He just didn't have it up to his mouth.
310-769-6880.
Tim, I want to thank you for supplying all the products and
Yes,
the
sir.
good discount that I got. And guys, if you'd like to take advantage of the discounts that are available, just tell Tim you're calling for your Joe's Minibike Reunion discount. If their order is under $100, like, give the guy a break, will you? Evil Ed, what do you think about the how-to format? I like it.
Yeah.
You know, we got the right guys doing it.
Let's see if this thing starts.
Yeah, let's check it out, and then let's talk a little bit about the upcoming.
We got gas?
We got gas. It's in the tank back there.
Hey, Joe.
Yes?
I just wanted to touch real quick.
Certainly.
Also, another way to get a hold of us, you can go on to the website, fbminibikes.com.
Yep.
Or you can contact me directly. You can text me. My number is 909-721-0800. So that way you guys can get a hold of me more directly. If I don't answer you right away, I will get back to you, but you can leave a voicemail or text me there.
Yep, let's get this thing fired up. We're going to start this thing up. And thank everybody for listening. We appreciate you staying up. Todd Cahill joined us. Good to hear from you, Todd. My main man, Dane Walton. Jake, you had a question earlier. I know you want us to start this thing so you can go to bed. I don't know what your question was earlier, but I may have missed it, Jake. If you could, send it to me again. I want to thank everybody from the East Coast who tuned in. You're just a bunch of guys in the garage having a good time. We're not trying to be professional or anything. That would blow our whole cool. Ed, we got to build a bike. That's what we got to do. Frank, you're going to take home that V-twin. And I was in the shower. And I already have the bike figured out. It's going to be called Big Boy. Like something that Bob, you know that big thing in front of Bob's Big Boy? It's like if that fucker wanted to ride a mini bike. It's going to be big. You know those big things these people ride on the ocean now?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to do a mini bike version of that.
A jumbo trike.
Big floater
big
tires, Terra
That
float
wheel.
tires, that big engine, a big frame. I don't want a ladder to get up there, but I need to get boosted up on this thing.
Big.
I don't want to quite build the world's biggest mini bike, but I want to build a very big, simple mini bike. That's what we're going to do.
That's what we're going to
Now, I don't even know if your car is big enough to take this home, so I may have to get my friends from UPS to ship this off to you.
Maybe.
We'll try.
Yeah, we'll try.
But we're hoping to see you back on the podcast again. In fact, I still think we need to do that round table. I want to do it over the holidays. Guys, let's. Are we almost ready to fire this baby up? We got a little gas in there? A little petro? This is petro from Rocket Brand Racing Fuels.
Wow.
Good friend of mine, Rocket Brand.
Good stuff.
I want to thank those guys. I want to give a nice shout out to my wife, Linda, who's in there listening, as well as Denise is inside there as well. I want to give a shout out to my daughter and Dave, who probably left by now knowing them. There's some local guys, Jonah and Toby McCaslin. My cousin Eddie for hooking me up with the engine from Arizona. I had to make the Arizona connection. He's got to go buy me a couple other ones. Bob Swerzik, an old upstate New Yorker. I want to say hi to my cousin Steve, my niece Miranda, my nephew Joey, and all those guys back there. My sister Gigi. I'm missing a few people. Marv, are you out there? Jeff DeLynn, the former general manager of Hot Rod Magazine and a Joe's Minibike Reunion fan. He's moved over to Arizona to work at Bulletproof Diesel. Big shout out to you, Jeff. I smell gas.
Yeah, I think she's ready.
Ready.
Charles had the tacos. Oh, that gas. All right, let's. How are we going to do this now? Oh, that'd be Charles.
I can hold it,
You want to start it?
but somebody got to choke it while.
Yep, Brian's going to choke it.
Someone gotta hit the throttle once a week.
Tim, you hit the. No, here's the deal. Tim's going to shoot the video. Ed, you pull the throttle. Look at this.
Show me the garage.
Hold this all that way. I'll bump start it.
Choke on the car.
No, I say we.
Don't try this at home.
No, I say we keep the garage shut. Let's.
This is the part.
All right,
you
hold
don't
on, guys.
try
You're
at
in front of the
home right
cameras.
here.
Let's
You
position
gotta
everybody
bump
so.
it. You gotta bump
Yeah,
it.
I'm gonna bump
before
it.
Choke.
It doesn't gas.
I ain't doing shit. Here we go, folks. Oh, 5, 4.
Idle it more.
Wait.
All right, little idle adjustment.
You have to iron it up.
This is the fun shit, isn't
I
it?
thought it did already.
Who else is doing this on a Wednesday night? Come on.
Then idle high, so we'll have to bring it down.
We're going to bring the idle down just a little.
All the way out.
That was a good sound.
That's just a little fire
Always
up.
a little fine tuning.
That's cool, no?
That's good right there.
So what are we doing? A little carburetor or idle adjustment?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
idle.
What do we do? Tune it down a little bit?
Yeah, we just idle it down.
Don't forget, folks, we rejetted this
Just hit
thing.
it a little bit, that shit can cook.
All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, how about a nice round of applause? Congratulations, guys. Great job. How about that?
She's alive.
Let's hit that garage halfway. I think if you hit that button, George, just for a second, and everybody can sit back down. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. How's that for a Wednesday night? I have 2 3-pound Yorkshire Terriers that are probably going to have to pull off the ceiling right now.
Yeah. We don't know what happened.
Oh, man. Got a nice little buzz there.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Nitro buzz. That's like Sunday at Pomona.
Little bit.
Have one of those fucking turkey legs, some warm Budweiser.
That's pretty smelling fuel.
Well, I want to say, guys, I'm not surprised that it started like it did. Sounds awesome. We've got essentially a 16 horsepower, $700 investment. Now, granted, and I'm taking a lot of things for granted, this was put together in about an hour and change by some of the top guys in our sport, so keep that in mind. Suffice it to say that I tried to attempt to do this. It may take a little bit longer, Ed. It may
Maybe
be-
an hour longer.
well, but guys, so now we essentially have it. Let's talk a little bit about the upcoming engine contest, Charles.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not a coincidence. We have these 3, us 3 up here.
Now you're talking about yourself, Solo,
me,
and George.
F&B, Brian, and George from GTs.
Yes.
We all plan on being in the engine building challenge to represent like the West Coast.
Okay. 3 strong
So,
contestants right
it's
there.
a better chance of somebody from the West Coast winning with more entries, of course.
Without a doubt.
Yeah,
especially-
I was just lucky enough to win, being the only one. But now, so they stepped up to be in it.
So will you guys work in concert with each other? Will you still maintain that independence?
No, it's completely independent.
Yeah, it's independent.
It's completely in. He doing his own build. He doing his own.
I plan
I'm
on
doing
going to
my
beat
own.
both these guys. So
Yeah,
No,
my
no,
goal
no,
is to
no.
beat everybody,
Okay.
right, and be number one.
But
if somebody from the West Coast do happen to win, I still like that also.
so
Yeah.
talk to us about the competition, the who, what, where, when, and why.
When is it? It's supposed to be
November. Or,
November.
What's the name of
something?
it, guys?
Small Engine Building Challenge or something.
And what's
like
the gentleman's name who puts it on?
that. Brad
Brad
Hill.
Hill.
Okay,
Yeah.
and Brad's got his own website.
oh yeah.
Yeah, he got his own website. The rules to it is pretty much 310 cc or less, small block base. You're not allowed to have a billet head, and you can run on methanol.
Okay.
Now that's what we had to talk about. Running on alcohol, methanol. That would be like stage 4 or something maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
This
Some other
stage,
rockers.
the next stage would be maybe methanol,
Okay.
and methanol is like a 15% increase in power. But
What will win that competition? What will the horsepower be that wins that competition?
That's
a
gonna
good
have to
question.
be probably a max of 35 horsepower or something.
Well, look, what did you run on the dyno at Joe's last year?
29.9, no, 7.3 or something.
That's
it
through the
was.
drive.
Yeah, that's at the
lose
wheel.
another 25.
Well, at the crank, yeah, I would have. But see, that engine wouldn't be allowed because
Okay.
the head was billet. You can't have
Yeah,
billet
this
heads.
challenge is all cast.
It's all cast.
So where are you guys in terms of the competition? Have you already started your projects? You're halfway through them? I see a lot of
I
stuff that you're
started
doing.
on my head.
You're
Yeah.
getting some
I'm
nice.
started on my head, but the block and stuff is pretty much standard because you still limited to how big you can possibly go. So the block is pretty much standard. We all will pretty much have about the same size engine, but the heads is going to be different. The carbs, the cams.
You got a
most
bunch of
likely.
goodies in recently. What
You
did you
know?
just take in?
The last piece to my puzzle for my build, picked up some gauge rockers, so I'm gonna go that route.
I'm running gauge too.
Yeah.
So what about
It's
the
the best
silent
rock
assassin
record.
back there?
Gauge? Well, we got that in common.
So,
We all running gauge.
Like George is sitting back there like, Yeah.
Gauge got the new black venoms. You got black venoms?
Black Venoms are the best.
You got
Yeah.
the black venom?
what is it about?
Everybody got black venoms.
We know the deal with you. I think our fans know the deal with Brian and Frank and F&B. What's the deal with George? What is it that George brings to that party that others don't?
Well, George, he's the local guy champion. As far as the small engine drag racing in LA, he's the local champ out here. As far as he don't race himself, but he built the engines that win in the events out
George, what was your first bike?
man, we just said like when I was 11.
What was it? Do you remember?
Nah, I had a Joe's. We said Joe's.
Like a homemade Joe's bike? What kind of engine? Do you remember?
7 horsepower.
All right.
Subaru.
What is-
Subaru,
Seven.
Subaru.
Started with
Oh,
a
the
seven?
Subaru, yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
he
you're
already
right
I
big.
love the Subaru.
He already big.
George,
already.
when is it about mini bikes that really do it for you? With all the other things, the cars and the motorcycles and everything else, why mini bikes?
I don't know, man. It's just like something I like to do.
Yeah,
George,
Can't really.
it's just because you did it when you were young. Is that what it is? I mean, you made it into a business. I
I
mean,
used to see people, riding them, and I wanted to ride it, but then at the same time, my dad never used to let me ride them.
huh?
Because,
Yeah.
then I started, getting my money together, started buying something, started buying it slowly. So I started building it, started riding around. I fell a couple of times. I went to the hospital, got scars and everything,
Sure.
Yeah, but the last time I fell, I tried to ride my bike the last time. I just fear, I was
Yeah, man.
scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was kind of
It's a
scared.
fear come over.
Sure,
you,
man.
So, since then I haven't been riding nothing, So
We-
I just gear my bike up for a jockey now.
Okay. Well, you're obviously.
Well, the bikes, in all fairness, he's not talking about a 7 Subaru.
No.
Like,
man.
See, this is what I'm
no.
saying. Look, if he was to ride a 7 Subaru, he wouldn't
You'd be
have no
falling off.
fear.
Yeah, man.
When you start going to the level of making more and more power, the danger of it, you be like, this bike is not fun anymore.
Yeah.
Because you get to a point where the bike is not fun
Yeah.
anymore.
I saw that.
You
30
might get on
plus.
this motor here and be
30
like,
plus.
this bike is no fun.
This
I had Tim do the same thing. Tim went and used to have a
90
bike
plus
and
for
he
you.
zoom up and down the street
Too heavy.
real good. And I
Oh,
said,
yeah,
Tim
yeah,
is
sure.
riding pretty good.
65 for
How much you weigh, Tim? Tim was like, I'm about 180. Tim, get on this bike. So when I had put Tim on my bike, I seen he was out of control, but it was too late, right? I was like, wait.
Wobble?
But, he was wobbling, but he didn't fall, though.
Oh, good. Good,
And
because
that
you don't
was
want
the
Tim
end
to
right
die.
there.
Lobo's bike. What was it though?
The clutch.
Man got on fire.
The band.
He was trying to hit the brake and it wouldn't stop.
On Lobo's
that
bike?
brake did feel kind of mushy.
Well, anything could happen, man. I was remember me and you over at
My weight
Paul's,
on it.
and I was driving my Rubman. I come by, it's like, yo, dude, your clutch brakes all off. Remember, my clutch brake exploded over at Paul's, and I'm riding it. You're like, dude, your brakes. It's like you don't know. Sometimes
Yeah.
in the midst of all this. Well, look, guys, we had a great show. I don't know if we missed anything. Shout outs. Go ahead.
I don't really have nobody to shout
We got
out.
number one inside there.
Oh, you know who you're going to have to get? You're going to have to get Ralph.
Yes.
Pretty
Yep.
much like his
Yeah,
boss.
I met Ralph before.
This
Yep.
guy got like
Ralph, you're welcome to go shout out to you,
cats.
Ralph.
You talking about like a collection? He got
Papa
cats.
Smurf too, Sean.
A
John
lot
has
of
a lot of bikes.
He got
Yeah. Yeah,
25,
he got a
30
lot of
bikes.
cats.
I had a guy who emailed me, actually called me on my cell phone. I hate that. I don't know how they do that. It's like, hello, it's like, this is Joe. It's like, fuck. It was a mini bike guy looking for cat, and I hooked him up with Sean, and Sean was a pro. Sean, I got the text. I sent it to Sean. 2 seconds later, Sean's on him, and so hopefully that works out. How about some shout-outs for you, George? Any? Who did you leave tonight? Who's back at the house? Say hi to Mama or the kids or anybody.
My girl,
Yeah, what's her name?
Cynthia.
Cynthia. Thanks for letting George out of the what do we call it? The playpen tonight. What's your week look like? You busy? Got a lot of projects going on at the shop?
Nah, not really.
That would be a yes, folks. So
Well, see, with him, he build every day. This is
Yeah.
what he do.
Good.
I may do something like once a week, twice.
Once a week.
Well, thank you
me,
for,
sure.
yeah, I
I don't
don't-
do it every day.
thank you for coming out, Rafa. Brian, Frank, again, congratulations on the Hall of Fame induction. Thanks for coming all the way out here, man. You came early, you beat the traffic, but you had some fun. You got to ride the Grom, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Responsive
Nice
and
bike.
nice.
Yeah, if you jump on the Ducati next time, Frank.
I will.
You know better.
I'd love to.
I'll hook up with you guys a little bit later on the build. We thank you for coming. If you want to find out more about picking up a F&B bike or a pipe, you know how to get a hold of them. Isky, Tim, thanks for dropping in. You know how to get a hold of Isky. Tim, we'll look forward to doing some things with you on the podcast and maybe Joe's Minibike reunion. I have a cam that was still available. Tim gave us a couple camshafts to give out. So we're going to give away a camshaft that I still have from Tim. If it fits your bike, great. If not, I'm sure if you can tell Tim what bike you have, we'll swap it out. Just send us in a response that you watched the email and why you liked it or hated it. And the one that I liked the most, we're going to get an Isky cam. So thank you for that, Tim. Pick up Roadkill Magazine. Again, we give away two $50 gift certificates from Go Power Sports. The second winner was, the first winner was Jack, and then the second winner was Ruben Rodardi. You guys are both the winners. Get better. This is Joe from Joe's Minibike Reunion. Evil Ed, thanks for always. Who do you want to have on the show next time?
I don't know. Maybe what about Mac?
Yeah, how about Mac?
Yeah, where's Mac at?
Yeah, hey, Richard McGill. Hall of Famer. Let's see if we can get Mac on the show. We'd love to have him. I saw him. Shit, I've seen him twice in the last
What
2
was
months.
that
I'm getting sick of
website
him.
Mac used to be on way before old mini bikes, 4-cycle, everything.
Oh, that was what's the name? Mini Doodle.
Mini
Mini
Doodle.
Doodle.
All right.
Mini Doodle.
So
That's
it all goes
old
downhill
right
from
there.
that. But
I
hey,
don't know if
guys,
I remember that one.
for all you guys who
I was
didn't know
on
if we were going to be able to
That was
start
a
this
long
engine,
time
we
ago.
did. For all you guys who knew we were going to fire up this engine, thanks for the support. Once again, a big shout out to Jen. Hope you get a little bit better. Emmanuel, thanks for all the great work. D1 Productions. Thanks to Pioneer. Thanks to CRC. Thanks to Roadkill. Joe Sebergandio. Joe's Minibike Reunion Podcast. We're out.
Joe's Minibike Show.